Shalom, everyone. Okay, baptized in Babylon. What am I talking about? Baptized in Babylon. Well, once again, we have our people believing things that's just not scriptural correct. And one of them is being baptized in Babylon before leaving Babylon. This is something that people are believing because of what man is teaching, and basically they're saying, I cannot leave Babylon until I have been baptized in water. Now, it's a few things I want to go over concerning this water that's in Babylon and what's going on with the water that's in Babylon. You see this sign here, welcome to Babylon the Great. Who would want to see this coming into any country, anyone that knows better, to see this sign, welcome to Babylon the Great? This is not a good sight. This is not a good sign to see. There's many issues with the water. Number one, there is something in the water. There's no doubt there's something in the water. The water is polluted. Is it put there on purpose? Is it because of her plagues? Yes, it's a number of things. There's plagues. There are many plagues that's already plaguing Babylon. And I know you've heard of the stories. You've seen the stories and heard of these flesh-eating bacteria because people went in the water. They went in the water swimming to have fun. They're at the beaches on vacations, but yet they end up with a flesh-eating bacteria that's eating away at the flesh, and people had their legs amputated, their arms amputated. Horror stories. We're talking death now because of this bacteria that's in the water. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out something's bad wrong. There are many stories. There was a little girl that got her face was messed up because she went in the water. They're telling people do not go in the water if you have a cut, because these organisms, they are going into your bodies through these cuts. They also, if you go underwater, they will go up your nose and they will enter into your body that way. And this is horrible. Years ago, and anyone that's aged of a good, not saying you're old, but you've been around a while like myself, you understand back in the 70s, we didn't deal with these things. We went in all types of water, and we've never had this issue, never had this to deal with. I'm going to show here a clip of this woman. Listen at her story of what happened to her when she went swimming, just for a few minutes, just a few minutes. I agree with this woman. You get in this water at your own risk. You go in this water to get baptized at your own risk. You heard what this woman said. She was 100% healthy before she got in this water. And after she got in this water, her life has changed forever. What's in her lungs, she still feels it, and who knows how long she will have to deal with what she's dealing with. But again, you go in this water, you go in at your own risk. They said don't stick your head under the water. Remember, they're saying that it can go up, these organisms can go up your nose. And this should be alarm for anyone that believes they must go in the water. It's absolute must. I say stay out of the water. Of course, I'm not in Babylon, but if I was in Babylon, there is no way I would get in that water whatsoever for baptism or anything else. The fish kill. I have to talk about this. What's killing the fish? And again, this is part of her plagues. This is part of what's supposed to happen, upon the whole earth. This plague, but this is proof. There is something in the water, and it's not, what's in the water is not good. And you can see pictures after pictures after pictures, fish killed, and this is all over. And one of the pictures in here, where is it? It's a man standing in the water, and I'm like, you don't get it. Look at this. He's standing in the water. He just don't get it. But there is something in the water that's causing this fish kill. There is something in the water that's causing people to get sick, flesh-eating bacteria. And you're saying we must be water baptized before we get out of here? All right, let's go to the scripture real quick here. All right, Revelation 18. And I've been over this many, many times. My question is, where and what scripture says we must be baptized in water before we leave? Because the only thing I've found all through scripture, he just said to come out of her. This is it. Come out of her. He didn't say be baptized, get baptized in this name or that name. You was in the Christian church, you got baptized in the name of Jesus, so now you get baptized in the real name, and this is what's really going to. No, it doesn't mention any of that. So I'm going to start at Revelation 18:2. And he cried mightily with a voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, has become a habitation of devils. This place is become a habitation of devils, and the whole of every foul spirit. This is a foul spirit that's causing this death, that's causing these bacteria, flesh-eating bacteria that caused this woman to get sick. But of course, people don't understand this part of what's going on. And a cage of every unclean and hated bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plague. Now this is the part you must get. He just said, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sin. He's telling you the reason why. You come out so you don't partake of her sins, and you don't receive of her plagues. Now, if you stay in her, you will partake of her sins, and you will receive her plagues. This is what the scripture is saying. No more and no less. This is exactly what it's saying. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Elohim have remembered her iniquities. Reward unto her, she reward unto you, and double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled with double. Okay. It says in verse 8, Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death. This is what we're seeing, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahuwah who judges her. So again, where does it say we must be baptized? I challenge you, let me know so I can see. And then if you show me a scripture where we must be baptized, I will take this video down. But until then, this video will stay up. If no one can show me the scripture that we must be baptized before we leave, it's not going to do you any good. It will not do you any good to be baptized. Now, here is the scripture for that. You say, okay, what scripture you're using for this? It won't be any good to be baptized in Babylon. Ezekiel 36:25-27. He says, and I will sprinkle clean. This is in the wilderness. This is after everyone is done came out of the countries where he scattered us. Make sure I put the right context here so you know what's going on. This will happen in the wilderness. He says, then I will sprinkle clean water on you. Why would he sprinkle clean water on us if water baptism is all we need right now? He says, and you shall be clean. So we're going to go in. This is letting us know we're going to go into the wilderness with dirt on us, with some type of filth on us. And he's saying, and it is the filth of Babylon for us that came from Babylon. You don't know the deepness of it. He says, and you shall be clean. Now, why aren't we going into the wilderness clean? Why aren't this baptism that we're receiving that's so much needed? Why isn't that what's cleansed us? He says, I will cleanse you from all your filthiness and from all your idols. This is something that I mentioned. I said in the last video, I said all of us is working in some type of error. We're operating in truth and in some type of error. And I'm going to show this. I didn't mention the scripture for this, but I do have it, and I'm going to show this in another video. He says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will take the heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my ruach within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you will keep my judgments and do them. When he says I will put my ruach in you, he's saying I'm going to breathe breath of life into you, just like I breathed the breath of life into Adam, the first man. Again, if this water baptism, being baptized in Babylon, if that's what we need before we leave, why are we being clean? Why are we coming into the wilderness already filthy and dirty? And see, he has to do this in order to get us ready for the millennial reign, the 1,000-year reign. This is something that many people do not understand because no one is bringing this out. I don't see let me say this, I don't see anyone bringing this out. The importance of being clean with this water before preparations. This is what I'm trying to say. Preparations before the 1,000-year reign. It must take place. There is no need for you to be concerned about being baptized in Babylon or anywhere else. Your mind should be, come out of her, my people. That's it. Come out of her, my people. We're reading right here. This is the scriptural proof. We're reading that he will cleanse us. He will sprinkle water on us in the wilderness to get us ready for the rain that's coming. Of course, 2/3 will not make it. 2/3 will be cut off. But he will cleanse us and get us ready and prepared. Those false teachings, the only thing I can say about that is be very careful what you believe. Be very careful with who you listen to. Be very careful. He told us that this deception, he said, take heed that no one deceive you. This deception runs deeper than what we even can imagine. Once he give us what we need in the wilderness, we would know exactly how deep this deception actually went. But people believing these different man-made doctrines. This is what it is, a man-made doctrine. You must be baptized before you flee Babylon. That's ridiculous. I don't get it. Again, show me the scripture that says we must be baptized, and I will remove this video. I hope this brings a little edification. I hope this brings understanding. Again, just like the last video I did, wisdom. We must operate in wisdom. We must use wisdom now more than ever. If not, we will die. It's just that simple. This wisdom is very important, and this is another piece of wisdom that you need. I'm working together for this next series of videos. It will be powerful, I promise you. Shalom.